a story of conflict, shifting borders, and now diplomacy. In the rugged mountains of the South Caucasus, two peoples lived close but apart: Armenians, ancient Christians rooted in the highlands, and Azerbaijanis, Turkic-speaking Muslims more common in surrounding lowlands. Centuries passed under Persian, Ottoman, and later Russian rule. In the early 1800s, Russia annexed the region and encouraged Armenian migration into Karabakh, tilting its ethnic balance. A century later, as the Russian Empire collapsed, Armenia and Azerbaijan declared independence, fought wars over Nagorno-Karabakh and neighboring regions, and saw atrocities and deepening hostility before the Soviet Union reasserted control. In 1923, the USSR placed the Armenian-majority Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Oblast inside Azerbaijan, sparking decades of simmering discontent. In the late 1980s, Gorbachev's weakening grip on power triggered renewed conflict. Karabakh's council voted to join Armenia, igniting violence, pogroms, and eventually war after the Soviet collapse. From 1991 to 1994, Armenian-backed forces gained control of Nagorno-Karabakh and surrounding Azerbaijani territory. Tens of thousands died, and over 1 million people were displaced. But decades after, the region remained frozen in conflict. The self-declared Republic of Artsakh governed Nagorno-Karabakh without international recognition, while Azerbaijan vowed to reassert its sovereignty, a vow realized in the 2020 war. That brief but fierce conflict, bolstered by Turkey, allowed Azerbaijan to regain significant territory. A 2023 offensive completed its control of Nagorno-Karabakh, leading to the mass exodus of its Armenian population. Enter Trump. The US steps in and makes a deal. As of 2025, the story takes a dramatic turn. US President Donald Trump has positioned himself as a key peacemaker. In mid-July, he declared that the Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict was approaching a successful conclusion, citing US diplomatic efforts alongside those between India and Pakistan or Rwanda and the DRC. On August 8, 2025, a landmark peace agreement was signed at the White House. Trump hosted Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan and Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev. The deal includes a 99-year US-administered transit corridor through Armenia, the 27-mile Trump Route for International Peace and Prosperity, or TRIPP, linking Azerbaijan to its Nakhchivan exclave, dissolution of the OSCE Minsk Group, border delimitation, security arrangements, economic and infrastructure cooperation. Trump celebrated the agreement as a major diplomatic victory, a move signaling US strategic gains at the expense of Russian and Iranian influence in the region. Also note Trump's interest in enhancing trade routes and his personal ambition for a Nobel Peace Prize. However, critics, particularly within the Armenian diaspora, express concern that the agreement overlooks issues like displaced Armenians, cultural heritage preservation, and political prisoners. Present-day snapshot. A fragile hope. The region now faces a moment of cautious optimism. A decades-long conflict that displaced tens of thousands might finally be winding down, brokered not by regional powers but by US diplomacy. Yet tensions persist beneath the surface. Unresolved humanitarian grievances, border disputes, and suspicions of US motives. Still, the story that began centuries ago, filled with tragedy and division, may now be entering a new chapter, one where infrastructure corridors, once strategic assets, pave the way for coexistence. Whether the peace holds, though, depends on how well the wounds of the past are addressed, not just buried under new deals.